You seem unusually peppy today. Did one of your favorite sporting teams succeed in their goals?
Amber, do you want me to share the episode breakdowns now or no? Okay, let me just get this. Okay.
It'd just be helpful to have about that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I sent them to you. I didn't know like I had to actually
I mean, we
like
have a share functionality.
I didn't know that this was COVID and teaching the 18-year-olds that who didn't understand that you guys actually have to do some work this
Hey, I fucking emailed to myself. What the hell?
Okay.
Don't lump me in.
So everyone, thank you for
Everyone needs his assistant to put together.
Okay, let me just
No,
start
just
this.
say you shared. I could have shared it.
Adab, NBA fans, comrades, friends, brothers and sisters, welcome to the Crunk Nawabs NBA show. It is Sunday, April 20th. It is my birthday today, and we're doing something special for my birthday. What we're going to do, we've already done the main show. We broke down the weekend's playoffs. We're actually going to have a video of that Knicks run yesterday, that 21-0 run. Aaron's just going to take us through his roller coaster of emotions watching that. Umar is going to give us more of kind of an objective analysis. I really didn't watch that game. I was actually cooking during that game. I had to cook at some point. I decided I wanted to do it during that game. I kind of watched the first and fourth. But before I get to that, what I wanted to just talk about is it's the playoffs everywhere. And so I wanted it, Amber kind of talked about what is New York like with the Knicks as like a pseudo contender. Umar, what is Toronto like now that the Leafs are, I'm not sure what they are, but maybe there's something. And then I can just talk about one experience I had in Vancouver. Like, what's the atmosphere like? I'll start with Umar.
So it's strange because I mean, for the last decade or so, the Raptors had been probably the more successful team. So this time of year, the whole Jurassic Park phenomenon finally happened. Something that I know MSG just adopted this year for the first time, like the whole outdoor watch along party, which has been, it's been nice to see. And the Leafs also have it with Maple Leaf Square. They do the whole like outdoor watch party. I gotta say though, now that the Leafs are like competitive, it is so annoying living in this goddamn town. These fucking people, like, have they not learned their lesson after 65 years or however many damn years? It's not gonna happen. Like, this team, it's just not gonna happen. Just give it up already. Like, it's annoying. I can't stand all these douches walking around in their stupid hockey jerseys in the financial district. Like, we get it. Your company got you tickets to the game. You're going tonight. Easy, champ. That being said,
You
I
really
really
went
can't
all
stand
in
it.
intense from the
I
start.
really, I'm sorry.
Amber,
I'm sorry.
what's New York like? And then, well, I'll start with this. I don't get a basketball atmosphere because I'm in Vancouver, and I literally don't follow hockey. But what I will say is, I think it was 2022. You had the Battle of Alberta, which was Calgary Edmonton. I think it was in the second round or something. And in Vancouver, we have a lot of transplants from Calgary and Edmonton. And I actually did enjoy the atmosphere in bars because like they don't like each other. And these aren't, I'll be quite honest, the transplants aren't the most sophisticated people. And so it was a lot of fun. I'll just say that. Amber, tell us what New York's like, and then we'll get into kind of the thrust of this. This is What is New York like, and what were you going through those first three quarters yesterday? We kind of have an idea because we have a group chat, but take it away.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I moved to New York City 15 years ago, so I've observed all the sports, and it's interesting. Like in the 15 years I've been here, um, I think the only champions they've had are obviously the Giants, like the Giants' second Super Bowl they had in 2011. So they've not really had a winner. The Yankees haven't won. The Mets suck. The Jets suck. Um, and then the Rangers were good a couple years, but New York's a Knicks town. Like when the Knicks are good, the bars are full, the people are pretty excited. We just haven't experienced it all that much. Um, I would say there was a period that Jeremy Lin thing for like 2 months was a real thing in the city. It was not some um like people were actually going to bars and games, and there was like a genuine sort of excitement that there was some electricity pulsing through the Knicks and the city. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think the last couple of years have just been, sort of fantastic to have this playoff run and have all the local bars just filled up. And I think it actually is fun when the Rangers are good too, because you can have Rangers and the Knicks at the same time some games, and sometimes that happens. And it's just a really cool vibe. It's like all over the city. It's not just in like the corporate financial district or near the arena and the hipster Bushwick bars near me and in Brooklyn. Like they're all full and it's all very fun. It's been nice to see uh, in terms of a city standpoint, right? Like a whole city getting involved. Like I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, so um, obviously in Cleveland, that is a football town. It is a basketball town because LeBron was there and it was good, but it's very much a football town. And then secondarily, they're a baseball town. And the baseball team was good and it was really fun, but it wasn't like pervasive, and it wasn't. Those weren't cities where people hung out downtown, right? People hung out, in the suburbs. So it wasn't that feel that New York City has. And this is, like I said, it's all five boroughs. We have the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think people follow the Brooklyn Nets. This place is a New York Knicks place. There's Nets fans, but it's more like this place is a Knicks place. And it's been very cool to see. And I think it's always good that the Knicks are like relevant. Like whether they're going to win a championship, I doubt it, but they're at least relevant. They're playing some good games. Yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, I would say this is the best city I've lived in for sports. Like I don't think I've lived in a lot of great cities, but this has been the best one. Um, I did live in London for like,
Okay, and then
6 months, maybe. Um, in London, it's still a bit different because there's just too many teams, right? Like London has 7 soccer teams. So you're not going to have that sort of,
well,
oh,
no,
the entire city.
isn't it London? It's 7 teams who it's usually between 6 and 7 teams who are in the first division, but they actually have even
Yeah.
more because of in the second and third
Yeah,
division. So
exactly. So people are hyper localized, right? Like it's not pervasive, and like I think that's part of the reason they get so behind the English national team, right? Because they don't have this thing where like huge swaths of the population are united on one sort of cause, right? Like it's not the same as New York City or Chicago or LA, where you have millions of people like cheering for one squad or whatever. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's like it's just fun. It's just really fun.
okay, and then so yesterday during the game, I guess we'll start with Umar. Umar, you take us through what was happening in the game in the first 3 quarters. Just what was going on.
So I mean, it was actually everything that you had outlined. What you thought was going to happen with the Pistons defense really hounding the perimeter guys, like especially Jalen Brunson, like making him work his ass off. Like that was one of the hardest games I've ever seen him have to play. Um, the thing is that it took a while for Cade Cunningham to get going in that game. Like if you look at his final stat line, I think he ended up with like 21, 7, and 9 or some shit like that. Like with pretty decent numbers for a guy's first playoff game. He just wasn't very efficient. He had a lot of turnovers as well. But I was very impressed with how the Pistons played the first 3 quarters. But everything kind of changed in that fourth quarter. And it was all led by Cam Payne, which is crazy to say that Cam Payne was the catalyst for that turnaround. But I thought the first 3 quarters, Detroit really dominated. They looked like the better team. They looked like the more athletic team. Defensively, they were the stronger team. And the game really just turned on a dime. And then after that run, it was just you could see the Pistons crumbling. Like you could see the youth on the floor in full display. Like,
Well, we'll get to the run. So, Amber, you take us through your emotions for those first 3 quarters. I do think at one point you messaged in our larger NBA chat with some more cousins, nephews, this sucks or something along those lines.
um, yeah, like there was no energy in the crowd. Like to Umar's point, I didn't watch the Pistons. I think I watched the Pistons earlier in the year, but I didn't watch the Pistons recently as much. Um, but Osir Thompson and then also Duran, those guys are terrifying. I mean, Osir Thompson, I'm sure Ahmed's the same way, right? Like, but I think I described it. His athleticism was so sudden. Like, it's just like it. like some of his movements were just like, whoa. Like you just did a double take with him. It's like it's a different level of athleticism. And they were just and then there's fucking Tobias Harris. Like having a Tobias Harris game in the first half. I was like throwing stuff at that shit. Um but yeah, I mean I think and I think we talked about the energy, we talked about sports atmospheres. The Knicks crowd is when they're not doing well, it's not like they're hyping the crowd, hyping the team up. They just get into this like, hey, we're like they need something to cheer for. And so the campaign when we got to the second half, that little spurt really energized the crowd. And then once the crowd got into it, it kind of like you saw, to Umer's point, you saw them become young or whatever. Um, One thing is like Cade had a very bad game. It was like it was like you hopefully the next game, like this is his first game, so like
I think
hopefully
that
the
was
next game.
that was our major concern with Detroit. It was there's just no secondary anything.
Yeah.
Right.
He he just looked like it was first playoff game, and I think he just needed to like have that first game. And
Okay.
hopefully he's better in the second game.
So we're gonna pick this up. It's 98-90, 9 minutes left. Umer, you want to hit play, and then Amber, just kind of take us through how you're feeling, and Umer can jump in. And if you want us to stop, just let Umer know because he's the one who's got the video up.
All right, here we go.
I mean, look at campaign. Look how hyped he gets.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw him yelling like this, I was like, "You need to relax, bro. Your team's still down 6. You're also campaign."
Yeah. But I think Malik Beasley had just like shimmied in the corner, like right before this or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he
And I
did.
was like, fuck you, Malik Beasley.
And didn't they mention something on the telecast where, like, I guess Bickerstaff was telling Beasley, "I don't want you shimming anymore." And so Beasley said, "Okay, I can only shimmy under very specific circumstances, and I want to do that at least." Like it was like something like at the end of a
The
shot.
shimmy rules? Is that what you're
Okay.
saying?
I swear to
So-
God.
So Brunson was limping before this. He actually changed his shoes. I noticed that he changed from green shoes to
Yeah,
purple shoes.
yeah. He had the
I actually
Kobe
noticed that.
Greens, the Grinches.
Yeah. So he came back and like that was pretty huge. So like right now, campaign did his thing, got the crowd hyped up. And then Brunson came back and he wasn't limping because he was limping. He actually he actually stepped on somebody's ankle and then he actually like landed funny. So we were like, oh fuck, I'm gonna sell my Game 5 tickets right now just to get my money back, whatever.
So I thought a big change is that play right there. That's Isaiah Stewart's 5th foul, and that changed a lot for the Knicks here.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh, so Stu's on the bench now because he was the
Yeah,
foul on Payne.
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because the Knicks also they put out the double big lineup. What were the thoughts on that?
I think they did it because they were just getting killed on the glass. Like they were just getting smoked.
They were getting manhandled.
And how did it perform though? Because I mean, I remember I had my buds in while I was cooking. I was listening to it, but I couldn't really see it.
It was working because it was a lot of what we said is if the Knicks go double big, who do you take off the floor? And at first, Josh Hart was the one who was off the floor. And it was pretty evident that the Knicks had no one outside of Jalen Brunson to handle the ball and do anything. And I think you can already see they've already kind of gone away with it where Mikal Bridges doesn't play at all down the stretch here. They're going with campaign. Like that's what they went with. And they went away from the double big, like they went away from Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, like that was one where he just got right by Tobias and then kind of stopped, got him on his hip and said, "Okay, are you going to foul me or just let me have the jumper?" Yeah.
And Brunson didn't have a great game, but he also had 34 points, 12-27.
I think at one point he was really bad though. Wasn't he like 7 of 20 and then towards the end?
Yeah.
Basically, this fourth quarter is where he got most of those points.
And so right now we have what? We have Towns, OG, Brunson, Payne, and Hart. And they have Duran, Schroeder, Harris, Thompson, and they've taken out Cade.
Yeah, they took Cade out with 9
out.
minutes for they tried to give him like a 3-minute stint, I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure he gets. Sorry, you're saying?
You know, I'm trying to figure, is that Holland or Thompson? Who's the 5th guy out there for?
This was a great shot.
Yeah.
That is Holland.
There you go.
Oh, no, number 9?
Campaign.
Number
Yeah.
9 is Thompson.
That's
yes, sorry.
Thompson. Okay.
And yeah,
then
there's Campaign once again hitting a huge three.
Marcus
Everyone's like,
Camby.
Marcus Cam.
You should
Everybody
have
was
seen.
there.
You should
LJ was
see
there.
it. Yeah.
Latrell.
John Starks. There's
Sting
John
was-
Starks.
That was Sting. Sting.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller. No, it was interesting. So right when Brunson went out, you're talking about. I think we
So
talked about it
that's an interesting thing there. Why is Schroeder? He's got all that space in front of him. Why is he just
That's
pulling
Tim
up?
Hardaway. That was
Tim Hardaway. Yeah, like
Yes.
What is he doing?
Because
there?
they took out Schroeder, they brought back Cade.
Yeah, like he's got him pinned. He's got him sealed. Just go to the basket.
Funny enough, I mean,
Oh,
there's
God.
obviously
Yeah.
a ridiculous shot by Jalen Brunson, but funny enough, Tim Hardaway had a decent game. I think he scored 19 in the game.
Patrick.
There's the captain.
I feel bad for Patrick. Those knees are so bad. He wants to get up and do something, but no, that's going to be me, right? Like at some point, my knees are just shot as well. Yeah, me and Patrick are same like that. High level athletes from my time in professional sports.
We were talking about the other day about Cat's aggressiveness and whether he'd shy. There was this period when Brunson was out where he did get a little bit more aggressive and just demanded the ball, and he had a big three. I think he had a bucket too, on the block too. He stepped up a little bit. It was good on defense. It was
That was a bunny there that he's got to finish. Well, not a bunny. Cat did a good.
No, but that should be a dunk for Jalen Duren. That should be a dunk.
Yeah, especially with Cat. Bam! Oh God.
Yeah,
So was this
So
just
this is the shot. This is the what the
Okay.
hell is happening shot right there.
and was
this
this
is
just
like
Harris
over.
hunting? Is that what Brunson was doing?
I don't even think so. I think he was just at this point, because Thompson wasn't guarding him, he was just like, I'm gonna go at whoever's guarding me, and then obviously they start sending the doubles.
And so who is Thompson guarding then? Well, let's just see what they're doing. Yeah.
I can't recall, to be honest.
That
He's on Josh Hart.
No, Cunningham.
that was
No,
Cunningham
no.
who was there. So that's
Actually,
Tim.
is he on the
Is
bench
Oscar on
now?
the? Yeah, I don't think he's on the court because that's Beasley.
Emma,
They took him off. They took Oscar
Yeah.
off for
But
a bit.
did he miss the dunk before the run or during the run? That was before, right?
Before.
Yeah, that
Oscar,
was.
yeah.
So there was. I don't think you saw that.
No, I
play.
did saw that where he missed the dunk, but then there was a turnover on the other
And then
end.
they score again. And
He had a nice.
Yeah.
to follow it up.
Yeah.
But I thought that's kind of where things change for the Knicks.
Did you see the spin move he did from the top of the key?
Yeah, that was insane.
That was
one of the
insane.
most. That was one of the most ridiculous plays I've ever.
Did you see that, Kasha?
No, I really
No,
didn't.
you have to see that highlight.
Yeah.
At the top of the key, they showed it. They said they did speed it up, but it was unbelievable. It was very, very. When I was talking about Sutton, that wasn't even the play I was thinking about. He was under the rim once, and he was just like, "Oh my god, he's out the rim."
So at this point, they've already gone 13-0,
Bernard King.
and there's been 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, they went 13-0.
And what adjustment did Bickerstaff make in response to that?
I mean,
The
no,
same he did in all his Cavs series. The same he did in all his Cavs series.
Oh my God, that's just an off. That's
Yeah.
awful on Cade's
Yeah.
part. You can't do that.
Yeah, K got a little bit. Yeah, it was
I mean that's the 7 turnovers, right?
Okay, so he OGs on Cade. They go to Tobias Harris. This is their late game offense. Tobias Harris.
Tobias
Please
Harris
save us.
isolations, and it's not going super well.
God. And then that's Duren. That's
Duren,
Tim Hardaway, and Beasley.
Beasley.
Yeah. And is Payne still out there, or?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
Towns,
he
it's
is.
OG,
Yeah, he
it's
is.
Hart,
Yeah, he's
it's
there.
Payne, and it's Jalen. And Jalen's trying to cover Hardaway underneath. So now you got it up top. Get the ball out of this guy's hand, Duren's hands. Yeah. Oh, there's 3 guys on Cade, and
Well,
yeah.
They just triple team them. They put the pressure on them.
And that was also a mistake in that there's got to be someone up top with him
to
for that
relieve him
release.
yeah, exactly.
And no one's there. That's probably a moment where you probably need Tim Hardaway has to have that recognition, or Schroeder, if he's out there, can have that recognition, but he's not. That's a good shot by that was Tim Hardaway. Yeah.
Yep.
God.
He's on an island.
Yeah, but he handled himself well enough. But then now no. Well, there we
Oh.
go. Oh no, that's a block. That's Duran coming over. Excellent. Yeah,
Now you're scrambling.
yeah, that's fine. That's gonna happen.
Mhm.
No, that was a late. I don't know if he slipped or he just didn't recognize that he's got to go over quicker. I think was that beat that's Duran, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's Duran. Yeah, that was Duran. That's a good contest and a wild shot. And he wants to go to the and again chirping up the refs, which I mean, there probably were fouls, but
I think that's
And
the.
that's it.
no, that's it.
And
Okay.
that's the end
Okay.
of it right there.
And then what? I mean, it's Sunday, so did you go out today during the day at all with the girls, ever? Or was
No, we had a Easter party at our house.
okay? But I guess tomorrow you'll be at work, and will there be excitement from what happened?
Yeah, when's the next game? Is it Tuesday or?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Tomorrow is them and then also the Denver game.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, there'll be. I mean, yeah, all the bars will be full. And it's nice.
I've already Emma, have you heard the newest sidewalk talk clip from this weekend?
No, there was one.
Cade, D Wade, Army Brigade, Nixon 4, baby. That's the line.
So I guess the question we'll ask is, I'll start with you, Umer. How bad of a loss was it for Detroit? What adjustments can they make? Does this change anything, or does it reinforce stuff?
I think this is very similar to the Clipper situation. They had the game within their reach, like they played as well as they could have for 3 quarters, and they kind of let it slip away. Obviously, for very different reasons. I would also say that they just fell apart. Like that 6-minute stretch, they just could not get it together, and then you could see they unraveled. Like they made a lot of plays that teams that are young do. They made mistakes, and then they just didn't make some shots that they wanted. That being said, I think there's a lot to take away from that game. If like positively, if you're the Pistons, you're the more athletic team. Defensively, there is a game plan here to stop the Knicks. It's just, can they stick to it? And then also, will it take Cade almost 2 quarters to finally get in the game? Like his second half, the numbers are very deceiving, but his second half was significantly better than his first half. But hopefully now, he's got the jitters out. He still had 12 assists. Like yes, he had 7 turnovers, but it could have been worse. So you have something to build off of. It's just now they have to pull out this next game. But I mean, if you're the Pistons, you have to also think that one, you could probably win a game or 2 at home. So there's some reassurance in there. So I don't think it's as dire a situation as maybe it is for the Clippers, because I do think there's a lot that the Pistons could have done better. But we'll see if they can build on that.
And then Amber, going forward, do you have any concerns even though you got the win?
Yeah, I mean, the athleticism and stuff like that, they just couldn't handle it. And Tibbs, campaign won this game for them. I mean, what am I going to be excited about with that? Just to piggyback off what Uber said, I do think it's a missed opportunity, because if they would have won that game, this city would have gone. The pressure cooker would have been ESPN, Stephen A, everything that goes with that would have put even more pressure on game 2. And I'm not sure about this, the mentals of this Knicks team. So I think that's a missed opportunity, in the sense, like if they would have got that game 1, this place would have just whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think like Knicks got to start quick at home, get the crowd into it, and then hope that rides them into the thing, because if the crowd's into it, I think they can get through.
Yeah, my sense is, again, limited watching. I'm glad I watched that. It's one of those things where you can kind of put Schroeder out there because Brunson's out there, but then if you have Schroeder out there, you have to have Cade, because you kind of need someone to help Cade. And so that means you're going to have to always probably have one of Hardaway or Schroeder, unfortunately. I don't understand why Osser, like, it seems to me you just need to play him as much as possible, just because what I did see was like no one on that Knicks roster is capable of kind of dealing with his physicality. Not even capable of dealing with Duran's, but I thought this was going to be one of those 1-1-1 or 2-2 whatever series. I think it probably still will be, but yeah, it is disappointing Detroit didn't win. Before we go, are there any final thoughts either of you two have? You want to say something?
In regards to this game, I think the most peculiar thing is, why did Detroit go away from Thompson and Duran when they did? I thought when that physicality changed, like that's kind of what let Jalen Brunson get back in the game, because Thompson wasn't the one being the primary defender, who seemed to give him the most problems. So maybe Bickerstaff to learn something, changes something, but that I found the most peculiar thing that the Pistons didn't do in the close.
And Amber, prediction for tomorrow's game.
I think the Knicks will win that game. I think they'll come out stronger, and hopefully handle business. I'm actually surprised that, like, to your point too on the Osser Jalen thing. I'm surprised they only played 23 and 25 minutes. Just look at the box score. I thought they were out there longer. But
it was all in the first three quarters. They didn't. I don't think he played more than like 2 minutes in the fourth quarter.
I know Osser had 5 fouls at some point, but they should have just rode with him. He was the best person, and then maybe taking him out when Brunson was out. But then when he came back in,
well, he wasn't playing in any of that stretch that we just watched, right? Like, no, he wasn't in most of that.
And it didn't make any sense. It was peculiar. I just noticed that. But yeah, I think they win tomorrow.
And so just to note, the Warriors are beating the Rockets by 20. With 6 minutes left in the third.
Oh my God.
What just happened?
Oh
I'm gonna go watch
61 to 4. What did I tell you about 95 points? Okay. What did I say? 95 points.
You 100% clipped there.
That's true, I did.
And what I will say is, I think Detroit's going to win tomorrow night, but that's just because that's how I think this series is going to go. Like, I think New York then could go 2-1. Like, I just think that's the type of series it's going to be. The other thing I just want to say to everyone is we're going to figure out what our kind of podcast schedule is going to be, because the unfortunate reality is the best game is always going to be the Western Conference game, which is the late game. And we don't want to have a scenario where we're always missing the best game, but we'll figure something out. You may see some more individual, just like maybe after the Knicks game, if Amber wants, he might just do a 20-minute thing and I'll post that. But we will figure it out. We will have probably a bit more content, but shorter content. And I think this was a fun little thing we did with sharing the screen and going over it. And that's potentially something I could imagine us doing again. Other than that, to everyone, again, stay safe. Keep fighting the good fight, and the agricultural policy episode is coming. Bye.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à manger? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Why does there have to be a death hunt, Mark? Why does war even exist? Why can't we all just have a game of footy like how England beat Germany for the First World War?
I don't know how to answer that, Jeremy.